Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
Yo, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your gracious host himself, L. Scott, and you see it on the screen. Guys, today is Monday, April the 21st, 2025. I hate to date the episodes, but I like to let people know that what we're doing over here are live. So bad. Let me go ahead and get some homework out of the way real quick because I do know things is a little bit wonky over there on 300radio.com. Guys, starting tomorrow, which will be April the 22nd, 2025, and moving forward, you will be able to catch this podcast Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. sharp, hopefully, moving forward. But we're going to do everything live. For the people who are new here, who have never seen the show, this is how it works. We run commercials, videos, everything else amongst the show that we're doing. So think of any morning show that you listen to normally. You probably grew up, if you're anything like me, listening to Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, even Russ Parr in the morning. I don't know if you guys remember Russ Parr, but he was really big in my area growing up. Tom Joyner was another big one, but I think he's retired now. We're just like them. The only difference is we play videos and not just regular songs. But to catch the videos, you have to watch it live right now at 11 a.m. If you catch it live, you'll be able to see it. But if you watch the playback, which will come on directly after the show airs on 300radio.com, you're going to get an edited version. Sorry. But if you want to also watch the edited version, you can do so on YouTube at 300radio1.com. So it's 300radio and the number 1, and you'll pull us up right away. You can go ahead, click and subscribe when you get over there, guys. Click and subscribe, click and subscribe, click and subscribe. We are getting viewership out the asshole over on YouTube, but we're not translating that over into subscribers solely because people don't pay attention. So with that being said, yes, I want you guys to go over there and do that. That's the housekeeping for the day. You got to forgive me too, guys. I'm catching up right now. I came back from WrestleMania was last night, and I really wasn't even supposed to do the show today, but I got back in time to do it. So we're going to do it. We're going to probably talk to Miss Love, and she's going to probably want to talk about a little bit of that. She's a big wrestling head to get the show started. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm not going to waste time at all. Let's dive right into the show and let's get things popping. All right? Let's be right back.
It's time for the Chill Report.
It's about to go down.
Oh my goodness. This is my favorite part of the show. It's called the Chill Report. Oh, I love it. But the guy who gives the news, they hate to give the news.
Really?
For once in your life, just do the fucking news. All right? No. I'm gonna do the fucking news. No. Here is the fucking news.
Uh-oh. Disconnected. All right, guys. We are here. Like I said, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get Miss Lovey pulled up. Let me get her going so we can get this thing popping for you guys early this morning. Let's get this thing going. How's everybody doing today? Let's get everything going. Boom, 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 boom. Let's hopefully she answers.
Hello.
What up there, Dunn? How was everything going on your end of the spectrum?
Well, my sinuses are kicking my butt. Outside of that, I'm doing pretty doggone good.
Okay, you sound old when you say that about the sinuses. It's like, you remember the episode of Life where Martin was trying to trade cholesterol pills towards the end? That's what you sound like.
I don't remember that scene.
Well, you'll remember at the end of the movie when he was in they was in the prison, and this is when they had gotten old, and some young guy he was playing cards, I think it was cards with, dominoes with, and the guy was trading something, and Martin wanted to trade cholesterol pills. So yes, I remember. But no. I know. I told the people already when I started the show. I told the people you probably want to dive a little bit into WrestleMania, which is fine with me. I haven't had a chance to really talk about it, just to get it out the way. And like I said, and then too, I'm not going to make it political at all today. We're going to put that away. I'm not going to do it.
What?
Oh, okay. Let me take that back. I may do it if you trigger me, but as of right now, I don't plan on doing it. So,
try my best not to trigger you.
all right, cool. So, give me your opinion. So, 2 nights of WrestleMania 41. Give me your highlights. Give me your complaints. What do you got?
My highlight was for Saturday night is probably the main event.
Mm-hmm.
The main event did what it was supposed to do.
It did. I agree. That did what it's supposed to do.
And I wasn't shocked of the change of the switch up of Paul Heyman at all.
Me either. I actually guessed it. And I actually guessed it.
Yeah.
The show had just started, and I was like, something tells me, because it had no reason to end it. I couldn't see another ending with him turning on Punk or him just turning on Roman. It just felt incomplete. I said, something has to be amiss here. So,
well, the fact that everybody, see, with Paul Heyman, why he's so good at what he do is he knows what people expect, and he wants to give you what you weren't expecting.
I'm with that.
I'm like, and he's like, I know he's like, hell, they wondering, they talking about who is he gonna be for, Punk or Roman, and I'm like, nah, he gonna shock the world.
Duh.
So that was cool. The Charlotte Tiffany Stratton, I don't know how I feel about that one, and I already told you I missed the ending to Jey Uso's match. I'm just glad he won. I'm glad they didn't give in to the trolls. And,
well, this is my thing. It's kind of like they did because, and that my complaint is like, and let me go with you. I'll stay there, and I'll say the main event. It held up to the hype. Roman looked really good. You could tell he done slimmed out. He looked really good. It was really intense. Mm-hmm. Punk looked like a granddad like he always do, but I get it. People love him from his era. He's just not my thing. And then my only complaint, let me just say this, and I'm not going to make it racial, but I will make it, I am tired of looking at Seth Rollins. I really am. Because let's be honest, Levy. Tell me the truth. What makes him appealing to anybody? He's metrosexual, and most of us men who watch it, we're very masculine. So he's metrosexual. Mm-hmm. He has no physique. Okay. His personality is average at best. He doesn't have a great, like an amazing skill set. What is so popular about him? He's not Shawn Michaels.
Well, half of what you said is wrong. That's what
I disagree. I disagree.
I guess it's opinion based, but you're saying all of that. And it is just not correct. Like the man's promos. Like I don't even know if you watched his promo.
I did
the night before on Raw. Yeah, and he sat down and he was able to give this long promo, and he kept my attention the whole time.
He don't keep mine.
Nobody had an issue with the way Macho Man dressed or Flair coming out in gaudy robes.
That's different. It's not. No, that's different. That's different. That's different. And I mind you, and I'll tell you, hey, you like it, I love it. I don't really care if you like the way Seth Rollins dressed. They didn't give. Now, don't get me wrong. Wrestling has. I get it. I was picking, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean. You remember Randy came out last night. Randy Orton came out, right? So I was sitting on the couch and I was talking to my daughter, and I was talking to her, and we was on the phone, and everything. We was discussing it, and we was talking about how Randy Orton looks. The man is literally standing in front of thousands of people with panties on, knee-high boots. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to be very confident to come out here and do this. So I get that, but my thing is just that that's not. Seth gives you metrosexual. Ric Flair didn't give you. He gave you flamboyant. He gave you big. He gave you rich. But he didn't give you. What you talking about with Seth Rollins? Everything he does is metrosexual. All his outfits are very suspect. The man wears heels like a woman. Ric Flair didn't do that. Even Goldust, who is an open bisexual, Ric Flair, Goldust is the open bisexual. He didn't even do it.
Wait a minute, Ric Flair is an open bisexual?
No, I said, pause me. I said Goldust, even Goldust was an open bisexual, and he didn't come out in clog heels on what
you're judging is his character. So if you don't like his flamboyant character, that's one thing. But to say that he's not charismatic,
I don't
say
get it.
that he does not draw your eye and your
Don't do it for me.
attention,
Don't do it for me.
that's fine. He's not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
I get it.
But this is the thing. How that character came about was he came out one day in this thing. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And people started online talking about Seth Rollins and his drip. And then he kept trying to outdo himself every year. Outdoing himself. We know that's his character.
Hey, I get it.
Because that's not how he dresses outside of the ring. But let me tell you something. I promise you, and even The Rock said this, without Seth Rollins, WrestleMania 40 main event would have fell flat.
Don't agree with that either, but I got you.
Everybody said that man was the MVP. That man came out with a bum knee, okay?
Right.
And wrestled not one match that night, but two.
Okay.
So
see, what you doing?
Man wrestled.
What you telling me?
Let me go back.
Go ahead.
On a bum knee, that man wrestled Saturday. He wrestled the who gonna will it be Bloodline Rules, and then came back Sunday, wrestled Drew McIntyre,
right?
A full match, bum knee, and then dragged his lifeless body out there to try to do his part for the main event.
Hey,
and if you can't respect that, I
don't. First and foremost, you just told me he was a tough sissy. I get it. Great, he's a tough sissy. I'm with you, but I don't do nothing for me.
What makes him a sissy? Let me ask you this: is Martin Lawrence a sissy?
No,
because he came out and dressed.
Yeah, I agree. Like I disagree with that too. So, but you don't want me.
But is he a sissy?
No, I didn't give him a sissy. Okay. No, I also think, but see, you're gonna make me political. I also think that there's a ritual that they put black men in comedy through to do that. So, but that's a whole nother stuff.
But that's besides the point. What I'm saying to you is, you can go and laugh at Mark, even whether you agree with him dressing as Shanae or Big Mama, whether you agree with it or not. You do not look at Martin Lawrence as a sissy, a punk, or whatever you want to refer to him as.
I do not.
Because of doing that, right?
No.
So if this man who is married with a child, who does not dress like that outside of his wrestling character, why he got to be a tough sissy?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I get it. To you, he's just playing a role. I understand it. To me, he just comes out like a tough sissy. This is it. But to me, that's just me. This is my personal conjecture.
Anyway, he deserved the win. I'm glad he won.
Hey, that's fine for you. I said leading into the match that I didn't think he should have even been in it. But that's just my personal opinion. But it is what it is. Well, outside of that, the Tiffany Stratton one, I was gonna say that one. I totally agree. You could tell them girls don't like each other. You could tell, you could tell when old girl got her tooth chipped. You knew then. I was like, these bitches is really fighting out here. That's what I got.
Well, you know, Charlotte knew she was losing, right? So I think she just went out there and it was like, I don't care.
Well, I said that too, because when I was watching it, right, and when I was watching, that's the first thing I said. I said Charlotte is putting a lot of extras on everything. If she's pinning her, she's grinding in her face. If she's hitting it, she's being extra, and she know that Tiffany's not gonna get out of character, and that's why she's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now you can see it. You could see it. But outside of the first, no, go ahead.
What I really loved about the build up, the SmackDown, they did interviews, and they did them outside of character to discuss what had happened at the promo, right?
Right.
And they were basically expressing how they felt about what had went down, and basically Charlotte's pulled these stunts before.
I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen it.
And she saw you like, okay, how was she so cool with putting Rhea over or putting Bianca over? I think she, between the divorce, the leg injury, coming back a year older, wondering if she still had it, and then she has to come across what everybody says is the next Charlotte Flair. And she's worried about being replaced, and that is why
Could be. I can
went
see
at the
that.
girl the way
Well, I always tell people this. People need to understand this. Just because you're watching the show and just because like other people get along, you don't know personality. Personalities just don't mix sometimes. So it could literally be Charlotte could be the most amazing person. Like I'll give you a class example. What's the big girl name that was champ for a minute? I can't think. Nia Jax. Nia talks so heavy, so lovely about Charlotte Flair and how she's been a great friend, an asset, helping her lose weight. See, that's what she said. That's her experience with it. What I feel is that obviously Tiffany and Charlotte, for some reason, whether we don't know the reason, they just don't get along. And I don't know if the company knew it before they pretty much booked it this way. They may not. The company may not even knew it. But by the time they did it, you got to go through with it. We've known, if you're a fan of wrestling, you know that they're not always friends when they get in the ring.
Well, that's true. But what? Okay, so I don't know if you were watching during this period, but Becky Lynch and Charlotte were best friends.
Okay.
Becky Lynch and Charlotte were best friends until, and this is an interview Becky did outside of her character.
Okay.
I think she did an interview with Stone Cold on his podcast. And
Even though
she
he looked
said
old as hell last
Charlotte
night, didn't he?
Was okay with me, huh?
I said, even though he looked old as hell last night, didn't he?
Oh, his drunk behind.
Oh, he was old as hell last night, and I know the company ready to get sued by that lady in the front row. But keep going.
I know, but somebody said she put extra on it. I don't know.
I would have too.
And look, when he was riding around the ring, I'm like, oh my gosh,
He's loose
down before he actually hit the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Becky was basically said, me and Charlotte was good until I became the man. And when I became the man, he had a problem with it.
I can see that.
And then she started doing sneaky stuff behind the scenes. Did you see the belt exchange that they had online?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
So, and as far as Charlotte and Tiffany go, Tiffany, they were cool before the injury. Tiffany said that Charlotte was her idol. Charlotte was who she put her, like who she mimicked her career after.
Right.
It wasn't until they put the belt on Tiffany and she knew she was not going to win that her jealousy just got the better of her.
And that sounds like the whole Hulk Hogan thing. That Bret Hart tells the same story that, Hogan was like my friend until I became just as important as him. And then all of a sudden he viewed me differently. So I get it. Some people I
think that's what happened.
Yeah, and I believe it. I'm not saying it's not true. I just was saying for people when I watched it, you could feel it, which I had no issues with it. I actually applaud both of them because one thing I hate people who can't do is when you can't go and do your job and you can't do your job professionally. I don't like every person that I work with. I don't like every person that I do business with, but you is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Be an adult about it.
Yeah.
So
they did good. But I'm going to tell you my favorite match overall was the Rhea Bianca Io match.
They had a very good match. I know
you didn't feel like Io should have been in it.
No, I didn't. But hold, pause before you keep going. Let me say this so people who are watching it, especially people who are wrestling fans, I'm not disrespecting Io's ability in the ring. Actually, she's one of the most entertaining people to watch in the female division. I was just saying, in the way they built it up, I knew she was going to win because they discarded her pretty much the whole entire time building up to it. To me, I just felt like when I watch WrestleMania, I like to not know who I think is going to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But I definitely think she's amazing.
Yeah, they put, it was fast paced. It was nonstop. It was like boom, 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 spot after spot after spot. Yeah. Like they flow, but they all really good friends too. So at like you can see the difference between the Charlotte Tiffany match versus their match. Because like you said, you could just see the vision. It wasn't as cohesive as it could have been. But their match.
And then I even say and you could feel it in Trinity and Jade. You could feel that they are friends because they had an amazing match. Both of them highlighted themselves very, very well, and you could tell it that they worked together off the screen a lot. You could see it.
Yeah,
you could see it.
I liked the match. Okay, right. I did like the match.
I think they did good.
They did good. They did good.
They didn't like the ending, but I think they did good.
What'd you say?
I didn't like the ending, but I think they did good.
The ending was what it needed to be.
I didn't think
now,
so.
Don't get it
I didn't think
twisted.
so. I don't
get
think
it
so.
twisted. Well, this is why, because you keep forgetting the business of wrestling. It's not always who's the best wrestler.
That's not why I say that. That's not why. That's not why I thought it ended poorly. But go ahead.
I see quite a bit of improvement in Jade, and I hope she keeps improving.
I agree.
But you can still see a little greenness in her. You can still see her waiting for a spot. You can still see her,
I see that, but
trying to get in position. And Naomi, thank God, Naomi is as talented as she is, that she was able to still keep the match flowing so effortlessly.
Well, let me say something. Let me say something to that, because I want people, especially people who don't watch wrestling, who are watching this. And this is not about race. This is literally about what I'm going to say about the women's division. I complain all the time. Me and my daughter talks all the time about wrestling. And you know, she's a girl, so she likes talking about the women's division. And so I watch it specifically in detail so me and her can have something to talk about, right? And when I watch them, Jay's not the only one. Majority of the women's matches, you can see the botches. You can see the timing issues. You see it through all out the matches. It just seems like for some reason they always want to highlight Jade's, though. That's just my opinion.
Well, like, give me an example. Who do you feel like?
Let's look at Tiffany and Charlotte match. They had a couple of timing issues in that match to where you could see people were waiting. Bianca's in the match, but I expect it now because it even happens in the male matches. You can see people waiting for spots. You want to know what makes the Attitude Era so good versus everything else, especially now, everything after it, is during that era, people knew their jobs. The women got in the ring, the men got in the rings, especially the men, they always did their jobs. And when someone did botch something, it was highlighted so much because it rarely happened. But now you watch matches, you see the timing issues, you see the issues with people missing punches and stuff getting phantom hit. Did you see John Cena talking through the entire fucking match last night like we can't see his mouth moving? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what I think is the difference, though? I 100% agree. I cannot. Like the botches you see now, it seems like you're going to catch one every show, right?
Every show,
right?
Yes.
But you know what I think is the difference, though?
What?
With the Attitude Era, which was pre-social media, you watched the show, you watched the Raw, you watched the pay-per-view, whatever it was, and then that was it. Right. Now you got social media. Now you got people who are filming the shows, and they're slowing them down, and they're able to, they replaying them, and they're catching stuff that you couldn't have caught. Like, if you watch, how many times have you watched a movie and then you went back and you watched it again
and you catch it in the playback?
Dang, I missed that.
Yeah, well, I agree, and you are right that we're getting playbacks, we're getting that, and two, being the fact that they've given us so much of the inside secrets over the last 20 years of wrestling, you know what to look for. So, like, I'm watching, like, the John Cena match, literally, I'm watching the match last night, and I'm saying to myself, why is, I can see him telling Cody, again, hit me again, flip. And I'm like, dude, you're supposed to hide your head, do something. We know that y'all are talking, but come on, you're making it less realistic for me.
He did say he was there to ruin wrestling.
He did it.
That was like, somebody said they felt like his performance was super lackluster.
It was. He's old now. He's over the hill, and I get what he's doing. Hopefully he brings something tonight. He said he was going to ruin wrestling tonight, so hopefully he's going to do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said hopefully he's going to
Yeah. Because, I did say this is the reason why I said it, because my overall critique of WrestleMania, because I always tell people this, if you're not a wrestling fan, but say you watch sports, wrestling is literally everything leads up to this. This is the Super Bowl. This is everything. Yeah. So you're going to look your best. Your outfit's going to be the best. Your interest is going to be the best. This is the show. They're going to put the most stock into it and everything. And I'm sorry, these both days was very lackluster in totality for me. And it was one of the very first times I ever say that about WrestleMania. I can get other pay-per-views and be like that. But last night, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give my quick one and then I'm going to shut up. First night out the gate, I said this about Jey Uso. I meant it like that. Jay's entrance is part of his mystique. And you need a dark environment for that. Because you can't see the hands, you can't see the lights, you can't see the waves, you can't see the yeets. And by putting him on first in broad daylight, it took away out the gate. That's one. Two, you have his entrance is coming out of the crowd. I've been in that arena in Vegas before. That place is fucking massive. I believe he was tired by the time he got in the ring because of the walk to the ring. That's two. Then three, this is one of my biggest complaints about the WWE when it builds for Gunther. You have built Gunther up to be something amazing. And being that you've did this twice, when he was the Intercontinental run and the Heavyweight run, both times you had him drop the belt lacklusterly. When he was doing the Intercontinental belt, you shouldn't have had him drop it to Sami Zayn. That's just one. And then two, if you're going to have Jay have a nice run, he cannot win by beating the guy that he said for weeks he didn't even feel he could with a sleeper hold than less than 5 seconds. That he doesn't even do.
Yeah, I heard how it went down.
It just did. It felt so incomplete. It felt like it was like they were almost made Jay an afterthought. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and I'll be classic example. If you watch anything leading up to WrestleMania, Jay, Bianca, and Punk are three people they're going to promote over and over and over again. And so I just don't understand when it's time for him to perform, you don't want him to perform at the highest level that he could do it. He should have been in the spot where Tiffany and Charlotte was at. That's where he should have been at.
Well, I'm going to give you, I don't know if you know this, but, okay, so all the wrestlers, they get a base salary, okay?
Right.
And then if they make it to TV, which is Raw, SmackDown, whatever, they get additional money, right? If they make it to TV and they're main eventing the show, they get a little bit more than everybody else that was on the show that night.
Okay.
When it comes to the PLEs, you get even more money, right? If you make a PLE. Of course, WrestleMania is the biggest one. So you're going to get paid the big bucks if you find yourself in a situation where you have a WrestleMania match. That is why everybody's always so desperate, because that's where the big bucks come in, right? Okay.
Right.
So how they do it, the top people that get paid on WrestleMania PLE is the very first match and the main event. Of course, the main event gets paid the most. But the second one that gets paid the most is the very first match. And I agree with you, though. I feel like his entrance would have been a lot better had it been dark. Had it been at night.
It needed it. It needed that. It needed it so bad.
It did, and it was a little lackluster because he didn't give it the energy that he normally gives.
I agree. Was he tired?
And I thought he was nervous. I thought he was nervous. I'm like, okay, he's nervous because he's not giving it the energy that he normally does. And so that played a role in it too.
And it could be what if he was upset about the positioning of the match going in? Because let me say it this way. Let me say this.
I can tell you he wasn't.
Go ahead.
I don't believe he was. I can tell you he wasn't because again, how to put it? I could see them being mad if this World Championship match took place in the middle of WrestleMania. But because it took place at the beginning, that's a prime spot.
Okay.
And you hear them talking about the prime spots and where they're located in the matches and stuff like that.
I hear you, but let me speak to you now because we've always talked about this. I told you, I judge success by two measurements because this is where we do. It is about how much money you make off of it and the accolades that you get out of it. So I've always said that to you when it comes to wrestling. That was my biggest thing in race, that some of those black wrestlers doesn't get paid like they're supposed to with the accolades. So I'm fine with that, him getting paid with that. That's not. I would think to myself, I guess for me, if I'm Jay at this point, right, and I'm in this spot, I don't want to open the show, even if I'm going to get a bigger payday for it, because in the long run, I need that darkness. I need this. It's basically like saying I'm going to give a little bit extra money, or I'm going to sacrifice some money for the greater good of me. And so that's the only thing. And it's just to me, it feels like with Jay.
Why would he do that just to make his entrance a little bit better? And I'm gonna be real with you.
Go ahead.
Because guess what? When it's all said and done, it's his job.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Okay.
Because his entrance don't look as cool to the fans.
Pause. No. That's not what I'm saying. And see now, and I'm gonna tell you too. I'm gonna come back and talk to you about this because now you talk about the money. I was saying it on the day I was talking about raising. You was like, money's not important. But let me get here.
What?
I'll get there, but let me say this. My thing is, it's not just about the interest. Shawn Michaels flying into the arenas when he won the title for the first time and then having himself on his knees and that celebration, that's part of his mystique now. So when Stone Cold knocked out, when Stone Cold was in that match with Shawn Michaels and Mike Tyson, that whole match and the way it was set up is part of his mystique. It moved him into that arena. It's not just about the entrance. The reason why Jay is so popular, part of it is the entrance, and that France show people still are talking about to this day. They're not ever going to talk about the night he won the title. So what I'm saying is,
I disagree.
They're not, because I'm gonna tell you why. Let me finish. And let me finish. The reason why they're not going to talk about it is not only just because of the entrance, then the match itself was lackluster, and then they gave him an ending that was lackluster. So what I'm saying is 3 parts to this match did not work in his favor. But if you move the match to the darkness, that's 1 plus. If you give a better ending to the fucking show, to the match, that's a 2nd plus. That gives him a better mystique moving into his title run. He's going to lose the belt in less than 90 days. Mark my words.
I don't see how you're viewing Now, if you were saying this about Gunther, then I could get your logic. But how is Jay tapping out one of the baddest wrestlers out right now, making him look lackluster?
No, see, this is what I'm saying. When you're watching the match, all right, you remember when Jay won the Rumble? You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm texting you. I'm texting my daughter. We're going back and forth. I'm in my seat. I'm like, oh my God, I think it's ready to happen. Oh my God. That's how I was. When Jay won the title the last Saturday night, at the end, you said, oh, he won with a sleeper hold. Okay. That's how it was. So what I'm saying to you is that it makes a difference. What made it
that way for you, though?
Why
the move is what it sounds like? It's the move.
Because remember,
how would you have wanted it? How would you have wanted it?
Okay, this is the example.
What would have been sufficient for you?
I will always tell you, you know yourself, your signature and your finishers are very important to finishing a match. That's why they're in there. So when you win your title match off a guy who you say you can't beat, and this is not indicative of Jay. This is not me dogging Jay. This is WWE I'm talking about. Now, I'm talking about why would you take this guy who has so much energy and have him lose it? Because now I'm already catching it. I'm reading all of yesterday. This is stupid. Gunther would have never tapped out. And it's because it's stupid. It didn't make sense. It's literally like Roman Reigns winning his title for the first. You remember Roman went through hell to become the champ when he became there. So it's like Roman winning for the first time off a kick to the ribs, and then he pins the guy. That's almost literally like it felt like. It's like, what? Wait a minute. What? Whoa, wait. Where's the super punch? Where's the spear? None of that happened. So what I'm saying is that you got this man winning the title when he has so much energy going in off a guy who is impossible to beat, off of something that didn't even happen. Shouldn't even happen the way. It's just the way it played out. It didn't make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think the reason why they had him in that to tap out in that move was because that was the exact move that he put Jimmy in that made him bleed while he was tied up.
Right.
That was the move that
I figured that's what it was.
Continuously, week after week, was putting Jay in.
Okay, now, so let's go deeper.
But I want to know how would you have, what would you have seen, or what would you have wanted to have seen the match go for him to win? Like, how
Again,
do you?
let me,
How would
that's
you
what I
have
say.
liked to see it go?
I'm trying to break it down. So I'll say this to you. The reason why I say that's why I say finishers and signatures are important. So unless you're going to win, so Jay didn't get a chance to win off his signature or his finisher. That's important. That's one. Secondly, and I'm trying to be calm because I was so passionate about that. Secondly, I'm saying when it comes to that, if you want him to beat Gunther by the thing that Gunther's been doing, that is perfectly fine. You know what you're going to have to do to make that happen, though? You can't slap it on him and I say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and he's tapping out. No, choke that man the fuck out like he did your brother and then have him tap out. They didn't even do that right. So if you want to go by the way that you said.
That I agree with. I don't
If you
have
did it-
any problem with him putting him. Go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say, if you did it that way, then I would have said that makes sense. But the way they did it, it was almost like what they did with Kofi Kingston when he lost the title. It was like, literally, let's just go up in here and let's just get it over with. And to me, it's just like, I think that some things, especially with certain moments, and I looked at Jay's moment, this was Jay's moment like it was Cody's a year ago. So it's like you got to give it to him in the right fashion if you want to carry over moving forward. Because I'm going to tell you this, and let me back it up a taste. When it comes to Trinity, the Trinity and Jade match, the reason why I said I didn't like the ending, it wasn't the fact that I had a problem with the way they wrestled. They wrestled amazing. Both of them did a great job. It's just, to me, I can already see that they're going to probably have Bianca and Rhea keep beefing going forward. Do you get that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now with Jade, it would have gave Jade and Bianca something to do, especially because it's a very fast feud, and it's going to end now, in my opinion, unless they keep it going. I think they should keep it going, and it would have been better to keep it going if you had Trinity beat Jade, and then have them come back and keep beefing, and then Jade takes her out the proper way at the end. Now, she should have cheated to win. I think she still should have cheated and everything to win because she's the heel, but I would have had Trinity win because this is a really good rivalry, and people are paying attention to it.
But you're assuming that it's going to end.
But that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't end, that's great. But I'm saying it would have been better. But see, the thing is, we know that Jade is the dominant force here over Trinity. She's already beaten her. Mm-hmm. There's really no need to keep wrestling. I've beaten the bitch already.
Well, then what if Jade what if Naomi had a won?
If Naomi, if Naomi won, that's why Naomi should have won and Naomi should have won and cheat. No, because Naomi should have won and cheated by winning, which in turn Jade's going to be pissed. And you know how wrestling goes. Let's keep going until you can't get me from cheating. She should have cheated to win. And that's why. And that's a small caveat. I don't have a problem with they went the other way. I'm just saying if I was the writer, that's how I would have wrote it.
Well, I don't think that's the end. I think that I still had heard rumors that they were going to start a female bloodline. Noticed they had a little segment a while where all of a sudden Jade is cool with Mia Kim. I cannot get her name right.
Tell me that. Is that the girl off NXT?
The one who is married to Keith Lee.
Okay, okay. I know you're talking about. And look, let me say this before you keep going. Let me just say this. I don't have a problem with them continuing to go on. I'm just saying, take Roman when he was beefing with Solo, right? Say if the first time that they had an interaction, he beat him, of course, the whole follow goes back to Roman. There's no need to keep wrestling. So all I'm saying is that they can keep going with them too. I have no problems with that. And if they have a great storyline, great, let's have it going. I'm not big complaining about it. I'm just saying, watching it, it would have been better if you're going to have them to keep feuding for Trinity to win off of a disqualification or at least a cheating or something. But I like the bloodline part, especially with what's her name winning the belt now, the U.S. title, with Jacob winning it. I would love to see like a new faction minus Solo with Jacob, maybe Trinity. You know what I'm saying? All the new bloods, put them in there.
What's going to happen is, and I think what was the original plan was it was supposed to be Jacob versus Solo.
Okay.
And I don't know why they pulled back from that.
You don't think they're going to do it now?
And I'm actually glad they did, huh?
I think they're going to do it now. You don't think they're going to do it? I think that's what the next thing for him is.
Absolutely, I do. And this Naomi heel character is red hot fire. They are not dropping that.
I hope
and
not.
The only person that she's feuding with, you have storylines you have little fights, and then you have like I don't know the word to use, but think of the bloodline.
Mhm.
Okay, that was a 3-4 year long storytelling,
Right.
and the way Naomi has been killing it with not just her in-ring look, her in-ring, she's always been amazing in the ring, but
Right.
her promos are off the charts. Who else other than Jade would they waste that on?
I agree,
Who
but
else
again,
who
I'm
else
not.
has that deep of a and Jade has been doing excellent. Like
Yeah,
she
I'm
did
not
the
arguing with you.
after thing with she did the after thing with Big E and them, and she literally looked like she was choked up, like Trinity had hurt her so bad. I'm like,
Well, that's what I'm
"Oh,
saying.
my goodness."
Listen what I'm saying. Again, I have no issues with them two in a feud. It has been gold. I think it's amazing. It's working. I'm loving Trinity because I was pulling for Trinity. So I'm loving on it. So, but my thing is, I'm just saying, in my critique of everybody has their own opinion of how they wish things would go. I'm just telling you how I would have want WrestleMania to go for them.
No,
But
I
yeah.
wasn't saying all that to counteract what you said. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
I believe that storyline is going to continue. Is what
Ah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
hopefully so, because I think it's good for both of them. The black women are showing that they're the best and most talented, especially outside the ring. A
I
lot
thought
of
we
the
were
time.
talking about race, sir.
No, I'm ready to give no. I'm not ready to go because you are arguing me about race. I'm just ready to give props to my own people. That's what I'm ready to do. So I'm ready to just say amazing performances. I think Bianca did amazing. I think Jay did amazing. Trinity did amazing. I think they did. I'm gonna co-op Jacob Fatu and make him an honorary Negro. I'm gonna tell you, he looked good to me out there. Liked it, loved it. Happy for Jay that he's the champion.
Hold on.
What?
I want to do a quick experiment with you.
What?
I want you to say something positive about one of the white wrestlers' performances.
Oh, okay. Roman Reigns did an amazing job in that match.
Roman Reigns is not white.
Yes. Okay, he is white.
Roman Reigns is
I'll
not
give you another.
white.
Logan Paul is. I said this last night. I was watching it too. I think because I was complaining. I was complaining about Logan Paul being at WrestleMania. But you can't take away his in-ring ability. The motherfucker's amazing. I just don't like the fact of how they put that motherfucker and pushed him up the line. But he's an amazing wrestler. Look, this is my thing. When it comes to race and wrestling, my thing is not to dog white people. I'm not there. I'm just saying my people deserve a certain due. I think there are talented white people. I am a Stone Cold fan, a Shawn Michaels fan, the Undertaker fan. I'm a fan of these guys. Undertaker was amazing for a big man. What are you talking about? He moved better than most. I'm not knocking him. I think Eddie Guerrero, because like last night I was talking about Eddie. Cause you know when Dom won last night, right? So I was thinking.
I love that.
I was thinking about Eddie, right? And I was thinking about how I was looking at AJ Styles. He looked tiny. I was looking at, it was other people, and I was looking at Dom. 'Cause I was like, Dom needs to just lift some weights. I love his personality, but please lift some weights, brother, please. But I was going to say,
you're a Vince McMahon guy.
yes, look, I am a physique guy. I am, yes, if you're going to be in a man sport, this is my thing. See, I am also, even though I know wrestling is a fairy tale, even though I know it's planned and it's everything, I still needed to optically look like it's real. So like, I don't like when the Big Show fought Rey Mysterio. I don't want to see that. Stop doing that. I want to make it look real. So if Dom's going to beat people, I just want him to be a little bit of muscle mass. That's all that I'm saying.
The boy, you would think the boy's just scrawny. He's just a lean guy.
He looks tiny. He does. I'm just saying he looks tiny.
He's bigger than one of the greatest luchadors.
I don't like luchadors.
No,
I don't like watching
what
luchadors.
I meant was he's not to say the only people. So anybody that's not buff and cut up, you can't see them as believable. That they can win on.
I didn't say that. No. What I'm saying is, when you're going to get classic example, Braun's probably going to get a return match, right?
Who?
Braun Breaker. He's going to probably get a return match.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Right. Okay. When Braun steps in the ring with him,
I hope so.
I hope so too. And if he gets a return match, when they step in the ring together, I'm going to need somebody who is going to make it look somewhat realistic, because in reality, Braun would beat the dog shit out this man. I just want you to make it look a little more realistic.
But I want you to think about something. In reality, when somebody like what's that child name? Ronda Rousey. Everybody knows she's a MMA UFC fighter. Everybody knows Shayla Baszler is a former UFC MMA fighter.
Shayla Baszler's a man.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that you can't get in this ring in real life, and there's probably nobody on that roster that can mess with either one of those women, right?
Okay.
But you still pull off that. Who name one person on that roster right now that would look believable against Brock Lesnar? But we're going to miss out on all Brock Lesnar matches because nobody really looks believable against him?
We have people who could wrestle Brock Lesnar and you wouldn't think it was unrealistic. First and foremost, look, you got a lot of big guys that still could wrestle against him in there. You still got the, what's my man who was just wrestling, Jacob Fatu, what's his name? Braun Strowman. He could wrestle him.
First of all,
you got Drew McIntyre could wrestle him.
Turn big for no reason.
Okay, Drew McIntyre could wrestle him. Drew McIntyre could wrestle him. It wouldn't look unrealistic.
It wouldn't look unrealistic. You're right. But let's
Randy Orton could wrestle him. If Randy Orton could wrestle him, it wouldn't look unrealistic. It'll look like it's a tall feat, but it wouldn't look unrealistic.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying to you is that when what's the name gets in the ring and he looks like a child, he has a child's body. That's what I'm saying. Just have a man's body. He does. What are you talking? That man is crying.
Listen, we might as well go ahead and get rid of the Miz, get rid of Kofi Kingston.
Oh God.
Get rid
Kofi
of Xavier Woods.
Yes, Kofi doesn't need to be in the ring with Brock Lesnar. No, he don't need to get his ass back in there again because it looks unrealistic. Yes. So I ain't saying that.
Could Kofi look realistic against Braun Breaker?
No.
Okay. So, but could Dom look realistic against Kofi?
Yes.
So the only time you can have a match is if you match physiques.
No, I'm saying if you're going to have the guy, if you're going to make, I'm saying in wrestling is about masculinity. It is about strength and power and all those other things. Not everybody has to have that. I'm not saying that because you have other guys who are not. What I'm saying is if you're watching it, it doesn't look realistic when when the Big Show is fighting Rey Mysterio. No, it don't look realistic. No. Yes, can they go out and perform it? Yes, but it don't look real. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, you
just be arguing with me to be arguing. You just be no, you argue with me just to be arguing. No, you argue with me just to argue. Yes,
you is
no. Listen, anyway,
and Finn Balor was up in the ring looking terrified of Braun Breaker. Anybody be in that ring looking scared of Braun Breaker.
Okay,
and if he does get his title shot again against Dominic gonna find a way to cheat his way to keep his title. That's what normally happens.
Yes, but I know how it's going to play.
When you go up against somebody that, what you're saying, you either going to cheat or you're going to work your way in or something.
I know I know they're going to cheat to get Dom to win. I get that. And he's not going to wrestle Braun. I just thought about it. He's going to wrestle Finn Balor. That's what he's going to wrestle. They're ready to go at it. That's all that's ready to happen. You know it.
That's true.
So, and they match now, and he can wrestle him, and that'll look realistic. I don't have no problem with it.
Well, every year, right after WrestleMania, they do this switch up, and so they may be taking Braun Breaker to SmackDown, and he may want the U.S. title.
Yeah, he may. Now, I'm going to tell you that'll be
already discussed.
Oh, go ahead. Now I was gonna say that'd be amazing if you're gonna have them going at it. That would be an amazing match right there.
They've already discussed it. They went toe to toe one time, but they never got to put the hands on each other. But everybody just got super hyped.
Woo!
And so,
Woo! I would be hyped for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
You know what? I'll say this because I always complain. I want to move on for a second for wrestling, but I'm gonna say this real quick. I will definitively tell you when it comes to wrestling's biggest pet peeve for me in this era is the diminishing of the titles, because I'm a title guy. I think you should have a reason to wrestle. So being that you need a title and important, see, when I was growing up, the television title they had a whole division that was good with it. The U.S. title had a division, people good with it. Intercontinental had levels of people that were just good in it. And so, but in the later years, it's like they're almost like throwaway belts. So being that the U.S. title is sitting on Jacob Fatu right now, having him and Braun Breaker go at it, that brings prestige and importance to the title because they're good. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that the titles have lost luster. The problem is, and somebody made this statement, John Cena is going to be the last of his kind. And what I mean by that is there's never going to be another Hulk Hogan. There's never going to be another Flair.
Thank God.
There's never going to be another John Cena. And what I mean by that is a generational talent where you had it in the 80s and you dominated in the 90s and because if you remember during the Attitude Era, there were about 15, 20 of the same people, and they were the same rotation of people throughout the whole Attitude Era, right?
Okay.
Now you have so much talent coming up from the Performance Center, NXT. The talent is just it rotates, and you got to once your star is there, you got to take advantage and as quickly as you can because the next person is already ready to come up and do the thing. So
one thing,
go ahead.
Now I was gonna say one thing I had to say about wrestling.
That's why you have to have like 2 nights of WrestleMania now.
Hey, I get that.
So much talent.
To me, and I look at it a little bit different. And mind you, I could be biased because I'm just getting older. You know, when you say you get older, you just like shit from your era. But one thing I could just say, and I put this on all lines of entertainment and sports as well. A lot of times, people are not as thorough as they used to be. Remember last week we were talking about the week before last, great movies, things like that, and they don't really make great films anymore. And the reason why I say that is because, like, for example, you wasn't here last Monday, but I did a movie review of Viola Davis's G20, Duplicity with Tyler Perry, and I did that Kiki Palmer movie. I watched all 3 of them the weekend prior to that, and I had some issues with all 3, and I had that conversation about them. And of course I did. Yes, I did. And you should have issues if you've seen some, especially the G20 and the Duplicity, but that's another story. But as I was talking about it, I just say, like, my issue with the Kiki movie, I'll just say it like this. My issue with the Kiki movie, I didn't really have an issue with it. It was what it was. It was a decent film for what it was worth. My only thing was that, you know how on social media, no entertainer really plugs another entertainer's work. Like, you don't see if Will Smith has a movie coming out, everybody's plugging Will Smith movie, or Viola Davis got a movie, everybody that's entertaining. They don't really do that on their social media. I think they should, but they don't. But for some reason, a lot of people was plugging Kiki's movie. So I was like, this must be an amazing film. And then when I watched it, it was just okay at best. It was okay. It wasn't bad. Kiki held the movie down. I think she was the best thing in it. But it just wasn't, I was expecting like another hood classic was ready to come out or something. It just didn't feel like that to me.
Are you talking about the movie with her and SZA?
Yeah, her and SZA, yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, but I did see clips, and from what I saw, it looked very hilarious. And
but it was cool. It wasn't. I promise you. Yeah, I promise you. Go watch it. I promise you. If you watch it, you're gonna probably like. Let me ask you this too. Did you see the G20 movie or the Duplicity movie?
I never even heard of it.
All right, the G20 movie is on Prime. It's Viola Davis and Anthony Anderson as the black characters in that one. And then the little black girl from Blackish, the youngest one that's grown up now. You know what I'm talking about. She played their daughter in that. And then I think it's called Duplicity, but it's Tyler Perry got one on Prime too, right? So both of them's up there. Mm-hmm. So I was on Prime, of course, that's why I got it. And I watched both of them back to back. And so you haven't seen this. I can't really have a conversation with you about it. But yeah, you have it. Matter of fact, I think you should go watch it and then come give me your feedback and wonder if you caught what I caught.
Okay.
And mind you,
what was your issue with the one with Viola Davis?
See, if I tell you now and you go watch it, you're going to go in with a biased mind. I want you to go watch it and then come back. And at least that way, I would implore you do it, because I'm going to tell you, if you don't see the glaring issue with G20 or duplicity, we're gonna have a problem. I'm telling you, we're gonna have one of them days. So I think you should go watch them. Honestly, if you have time today, they're not very long. Go watch them. They're on Prime. They're very easy to watch. And let me say this. This has nothing to do with the actual, like, the G20 movie with Viola wasn't a bad movie. If you watch it, you're gonna say it was entertaining. You're going to say that.
Okay.
But I just want to know what you think. So let's leave it at. But I did say this Friday, or last time we talked, I had actually lined up questions for you, but you want to talk about wrestling for the entire hour. And I got good ones.
Well, we got what, 8 more minutes?
Okay, well, let me give you one. Okay. Let me see which one I want to go with. Hold on. All right, so I have a list of 30 questions, well, actually 33 questions I got from people. And what it was I realized this is from the female base, because they wanted to talk relationships and stuff. All right. So the questions that I have, and I'll give you all 3 that I highlighted to start, and you tell me which one is on your heart to talk about, okay? The first one was, should you tell your partner if you cheated on them? That's one. The other one was, do you think that should couples have access to each other's social medias and phones, their passwords? And the last one was, do you think it's possible for friends or exes to be friends? Those were the 3. Any one of those 3 that move you.
Well, let's talk about the last one.
Okay.
Can exes be friends?
Okay.
I would have to say, if you're talking about boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Let's go couples. Let's go all the way to marriage. Let's go all the way there.
Okay. Then
Right.
I would say yes. But it would have to be certain circumstances.
Go
For
deeper.
example,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you're friends with your ex,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to facilitate a relationship with me and your ex. You
Okay,
get what I'm saying?
I can smoke a bag of that. I get exactly what you mean. You're basically saying, if that's your friend, then what's the problem with your friend being my friend? 'Cause that's how most of the time how couples work.
No, not even what's the problem. Your friend's going to have to be my friend. Your ex is going to have to be my friend as well.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I'm going to have to, that's the only way I'm going to be able to be secure with the situation.
Right.
Right. And I don't mean, when I say friends, I don't mean we can speak when or if we find ourselves around each other.
Mhm.
I mean, we can go all out to dinner together. We can go vacationing together. We
Right.
we can hang up, you're with my new man and I'm with your new woman and we're
Right.
all, that type of vibe. Right.
Right.
Because you got to think about it, especially in a marriage, you depending on how long you were with that person, you were doing life with you possibly did life with that person.
Right.
And you have to have a friendship if you're going to have a marriage, right?
Mhm.
And just because the romantic portion of it didn't work out, don't mean that your friendship has to dissolve, especially if you have children. Because
Oh, wait.
you're gonna have
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
With children involved. I agree. If no children are
'cause
involved.
then co-parenting is a situation.
Yeah, I agree. Totally
know?
agree. Now, I agree. Healthy, you have to, like, if we don't work out and we have children together, we have to find some common ground. It is not an option to not find common ground. We've all suffered, and we all know someone who suffered. Their children in that whole situation, they suffered in that situation because the two parents couldn't come to a common ground. So I totally agree. If you exclude the children out of it, I'm just gonna be honest with you. What you just said to me all sounds nice, but it ain't reality. I don't think that. I don't think that a male and let me say it this way, because I know we have all different types of relationship styles now. So, but let's go to the traditional male-female dynamic, right? Male-female dynamic, I do not think it's possible for an attractive male and an attractive female who find each other attractive, let me say it that way, to coexist in a friendly space. I don't think that's realistic. I think that for some reason our animal nature will have me, if I see her being attractive, I probably could not be her long-term friend. Now, could we be pen pals online or something? Maybe so. But if we're frequenting each other's space, it's not going to work out, because I don't think that two people who find each other attractive can do that, and especially two who have already engaged in sexual intercourse. That's just my personal opinion.
The key about the situation is, if you're exes, why would you still be finding each other attractive?
Okay, pause. You just again said what sounds nice, but why are exes and baby mamas and baby daddies is constantly fucking each other, even though they don't like each other when they standing up?
There's a plethora of reasons why.
You say what? Say that again? I didn't hear.
There's a plethora of reasons why that happens.
But it happens a lot.
Huh?
But it happens a lot.
How often?
Okay, so you telling me that you think that people who used to date but they stayed cool with each other majority of the time can do it in a platonic fashion?
You said take it all the way to marriage. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes,
that's what I
all the way
took it to.
Okay.
Now what I'm saying to you is, if we did not work out, but we remain friends, I have not only have to say that it is impossible. There are four groups of people. Everybody thinks it's just two genders, males and females. No, there are males and there are men, and there are girls and there are women. So yes, there are little boys or little males, who can't control themselves, which for the life of me, I don't understand. To me, I've always felt like that was some logic that men use to justify not being able to control themselves. If you can't control yourself, let me say this. If you can't control yourself, then that is a human defect within you.
Right. But can I say something?
Okay.
Can I say something now?
Sure.
What I find to be the case, though, is what you're talking about is discipline. And I find that most humans are very undisciplined. But what happens is, but I also think that we're very hypocritical in society. I think that we as society will pick and choose things like this. What I mean is, let me go deeper. When it comes to it, I'm not justifying cheating at all. That's not my justification. But what I am saying is, we will use this situation that says he needs to stop using it as an excuse to be reckless, which I agree with. But I also will say the same thing to the person who has an eating disorder, the same thing to a person who has an alcoholic problem. It's still, but with those types of things, we give passes because we say that is a vice, that is something that they cannot help, or we make excuses for it. No, it's just a discipline problem. So all that is discipline. And what it is that we're very undisciplined as a group of people now. Humans are very undisciplined. So I'm not disagreeing with you that I think that it is a very unmasculine trait to not be disciplined, but I do think we promote undiscipline. We are always trying to get people to be more undisciplined, and they don't even realize it. That's just my opinion.
But what I'm saying to you is you said friends, okay? And I make you my friend, okay?
Right.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Just the two of us, where we're going to get so tempted that we're going to go out and screw each other's brains out.
Well, I can tell you later.
You should not be out at no dinner. If you have a woman, you should not be out at a dinner with your friend by yourself.
But that's your friend. Now,
So
if me
to
and my
say you
homeboy
cannot
going
still
out,
be-
but hold on. If you and your homeboy, like classic, girlfriends go out to dinner all the time. Homeboys stop and pick up food after playing ball all the time. No one cares. So why wouldn't he find himself at dinner with his female friend? He would.
Yeah, but a female friend and a female ex is two different things.
But we're talking about them being friends.
What I said at first was it's possible, but there has to be boundaries. There has to be certain protocol. And yes, there's not going to be the same protocol that you would do with your male friends that you would do with a so-called female friend.
Okay,
there are
so
going to
let
be
me.
different protocols. Then and definitely if it's an ex, okay, yes, I can say, Julie, who's calling you, man? Oh, Julie's calling me. Okay, tell her I say hello. That's a big difference between me and Julie going out to dinner together.
Gotcha.
We're exes. There's boundaries, there's protocols that you have to set in place.
But see, what I'm saying is, but that means that the person, okay, but why this is why I guess the reason when I question, to me, I just view it differently. And see, that's why I just say what you say. What I feel like what I'm saying is this. I'm saying, is it possible? Yes. But there's a lot of things in this world statistically that can happen, but majority of the time it doesn't. And it's basically exception versus the rule. The exception is, can it happen? Yes, exceptionally, this can happen. But the rule says that most of the time it won't happen well. So what I'm saying is when I'm watching this situation like this, the reason why it's not going to work well, and the reason why I know it's not going to work for the very reason you're talking about, is too many fucking boundaries you got to put on it. Why is there so many boundaries if it's so possible for two people to be exes and be friends? It wouldn't be so many boundaries. That boundaries come into play is because your spouse or your mate or the person you with is not secure with you being friends with your ex. Period.
Well, let's you know what? Let's scratch it. Let's go all the way back.
Okay.
If you're with a man or a woman who wants to continue their friendship with an ex-spouse, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever,
right,
and you are in a relationship with that person, and if you can't trust them to be friends with that person, then that means it don't eat because you're attracted to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be attracted to the girl at the club. You could be attracted to the girl on the job.
Right.
You could be attracted to your boy's sister.
Right.
You could be attracted to anybody. So if you're put in a situation where you can't be in the proximity to anybody that you're attracted to because you're going to be tempted to cheat, then you're going to do me a favor by continuing that relationship, because if you cheat, then you're not the person for me because you're not man enough or you're not woman enough to be able to handle a situation like that.
And see, I even look at it
that
differently.
means I need to move on and find somebody who is mature enough to say,
let me say this to
I can see that woman beautiful, but no, I'm not. I don't need to be friends, or I don't want to deal with that person. And it's good. The only person I see is you. She clap her cheeks in front of my face. Don't make me no difference. That's how much I'm into you. And if you're not at that level of emotional maturity, who wants you?
I agree with you. I totally agree. So let me say this. I totally agree. And that's why I say I pride myself on being a disciplined man. I pride myself, especially in my line of work, you better be fucking disciplined. Otherwise, you're going to blow up your whole goddamn world. And so I understand I understand the importance of being disciplined. My only issue, I guess, with what you're saying is this. I just don't feel like, look, I just deal with things on the most basic level. And when I look at males and females, you're right. I find all kinds of women attractive. Let me back it up for a second. Black women are the most incredible creatures ever built on earth. And I mean that with my chest, right? When I say this. So that's how I feel about black women. I think black women are to be protected, to be loved on, to be treated well, all these good jazz. I do feel this way. But I also say I deal in a bit of reality. And my reality says is that animal nature is going to kick in the same way a person who has a sweet tooth. A person with a sweet tooth that is working out and getting healthy, as long as they're not eating all of those sugars and things, their body is changing. Put their ass near some sugar, they gonna break. Now, do they resist it the first time? A lot of times, yes. But just imagine if you had to go work in a sugar factory and you a sugar head. You're going to break eventually. So what I say to people is it's not about being a man or being a woman and who actually can do it the right way, or who could be just disciplined. I think also we have vices. We have things that can make us break. So what I do is I stay away from those things. So like, for example, I can't have dairy. Dairy fucks my body up. So instead of me flirting with dairy every so often, picking her up and putting her down and having me fuck, I just don't touch her at all. And I don't put myself in an environment to have it. But sometimes I see cake Sometimes I see some eggs that look delicious, you know what I'm saying, that I want to eat, but I can't do it every day. And I just think that that's what's wrong with people. I think people are not admitting themselves that, look, I'm disciplined, but I'm also human, so let me stay the fuck away from that. That's what I do.
Well, let me tell you why I don't think that's the perfect analogy. I don't know if you're still vegan. I know you were at one point.
Right.
Now,
Not anymore, but go ahead.
I'm pretty sure you've eaten a vegan burger.
Yes. Ate many of
In your
them,
life.
bitches. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you got a meat burger.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're not, if you're in a relationship, whatever you say animalistic, and I hate that again because human beings are not on an animalistic level. The only time we want to say
Really?
that is when
Really?
we want to give ourselves what's the word I'm looking for?
You really don't
ability
Wow.
to do the things we know we shouldn't do. I just couldn't control my stuff. So what I'm saying is this: if you have a vegan burger at home,
Right.
okay, you see a burger out and about, you like, I'm going home and I'm gonna get that vegan burger. It tastes just like the regular burger, right?
Okay.
Because this is what's best for me. So this whole, because a hole is a hole, okay?
No.
I don't understand why.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because your analogy, I don't
home that you,
Because I was gonna say your analogy don't hit, and it's just a reason why I don't think yours hit, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Yours didn't hit for me because of this. Have you, Class them? Did you not just come off a fast?
Yes, I did.
You wanted to be on that fast, did you not?
I did.
Now imagine if you went on Burger Row. I don't know if there's a real place in this world called Burger Row, but you know when you're outside and you in a place that has a lot of, you went to the fair, you took your daughter to the fair, and them funnel cakes is going and them burgers is going, this, that, and the third. You have to take her the next 5 days to the fair. Are you going to not eat?
But let me tell you why that analogy doesn't work.
Okay, give it to me.
I'm begrudging myself of everything.
Right.
Right? In my analogy, you have access, which is your woman or your man. You have access to get those animalistic desires off of your body that you just can't control. Why do you have to do it? Why do you have to get your animalistic desires off on something outside your house when you have someone inside?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, when I say we have animalistic tendencies, it's because we are animals. Now, the difference is this. Like, class example, I've had a dog. Have you ever had a dog?
We grew up together. I ain't had no dog.
No, I'm talking about, I'm trying to, because I haven't been around you a lot in the last year. I didn't know if you got Jada a dog. So I didn't know if you had one or if you've been exposed to one. But I'm going to tell you this. So I've had a dog for the last 14 years, right? And before I got them, when I picked him up from the pound, they told us that he had a short attention span, that dogs do this, dogs don't have this, dogs can't do this, dogs don't do that. Dogs can't remember. They even say that a dog has no concept of time, right? This, that, and the third. Then I got a dog. That dog has emotions. He cries. He whines. He can get angry. He'll tell you when you pissed him off. He'll tell you when he loves you. He do all those good jazzes. The same thing humans do. He knows when to be impulsive. He knows when he's done something wrong. He knows when he's in trouble. All this stuff. He knows everything like a human. So what I'm saying is, humans, I'm not giving an excuse to go fuck other people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that with some people, when it comes to it, they have no discipline for themselves and they don't care. I always feel this way about cheating. Especially with cheating. I say we're going to talk about a little bit of cheating. When it comes to cheating, I feel like this. A person who has been put in their face every day, and they may have fell victim to it this once, and they felt horrible, and they told their spouse or the person they with, I fell victim to it today. I'm sorry. It's not something I planned, but it happens, like second degree. I didn't plan it. That's different to me than the person who's an habitual fucking cheater that at every fucking turn that wants to have some ass. That's just different to me. I view it differently. I agree with that 100%. But what I'm saying to you is,
if you know
Mhm.
that you still have feelings for your ex, or
I mean, I had no feelings for her. I just may want to dig in her guts.
say it again.
I mean, I had no feelings for her. I just may want to dig in her guts that weekend.
Then why don't
I'm
you
joking, I'm
decide
joking,
to go
I'm joking.
dig in your new woman's gut?
I'm joking. I'm just playing by that. Look, this is what I'm saying.
That's a legit question.
All right,
If you want to dig in somebody's gut, why not dig in your new
Okay,
woman's
because
gut?
let me just say this, because what you're saying when you do that, the reason why I don't ever get into, you ever notice when we had this conversation, I never make them specific. The reason why I don't is because everybody who does something has their reasoning in their mind. So like for you, class example, why don't he go get with his woman that's at home that has a pussy there? I get it. She's there. What if she ain't giving it up? I'm not saying that's the only reason. What if she's ready and willing? She could be willing. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that may be one guy's reason. Another guy's reason may be for another reason. Another guy may be just an asshole, wants to fuck other people. I don't know. But when I know that people do things, they do it specific because they think they need to majority or some of the time. That's all I'm saying.
They need to cheat.
Or I'll say it. I won't say need. I think that people make decisions impulsively all the time. I've bought stuff impulsively. I've done things impulsively. I can't process wine and liquor very well, but I was drinking this weekend and I woke up with a hangover and I regretted it. But I knew it was going to happen. We do it from time to time.
Let me tell you what I think. I think people need to internally look within themselves and decide what type of person they are. If you know you want to be in different holes every night, don't get in no relationship.
I agree with you.
Don't get in no relationship, right? If you find somebody you want to do life with, but you have feelings elsewhere, then what you need to do is say, be honest and just be like, I'm not ready for that. True. I'm not in that space. Or if you know you're not disciplined in a sexual way, then you need to just date.
True. Now that's no.
You have to know yourself. But to say that it's just human nature for people to just do certain
no. That's not what I'm saying.
Because
that's
there are a lot of emotionally mature people who can see someone that they are attracted to sexually and not have to struggle to not go there.
Look, I go through that. Look, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I meet let me say it this way, because I think you think I'm thinking of it different. I'm not saying people can't control themselves. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that majority of the humans that are out here in this world, not by age, but by maturity level, are very immature. I'm talking about 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old people are still like fucking children. I was just the other day watching a young lady that I follow on Instagram. She was telling a story about how shitty her mother was to her growing up her entire existence. And she didn't even understand why. And she was talking about how immature and she's had to parent her mother. And so when I'm watching stuff like this, maturity is the problem that we have here. See, the reason why I can do things so I'm agreeing with you but the problem is people are not doing it. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that's the case. People don't, this world we live in, this is my thing. And I'm going to say it this way and I shut up about it. What's happening in this world to me is this. We are overly saturated with violence and sex every day. We are then also being attacked through our water that's messing with us and our ability to think and make rational decisions, through the air that we do with chemtrails to make decisions. We are struggling through this environmentally in every different way. So I'm not making excuses for people, but I am saying is that we are dealing with a lot. And it's not just always cut and dry. It's just go home and stick your dick or open your pussy for your man or your woman. I think what is happening is people are getting attacked on multiple different fronts and they don't know how to handle it a lot of times. And they don't even realize that they're being immature. And I'm just saying that what's lacking in this world is that we need a little bit more maturity. That maturity is then going to turn into discipline. Discipline lets you know I don't need to stick my ding ding in everything that's out there because some of them are going to cause me a problem. That's what you get to when you get mature.
The ones who cheat are emotionally struggle emotionally.
I get it. I get that.
So what people fail to realize is is not even the act that makes it horrific. It's the portrayal. It's
I
the
agree. Totally
portrayal
agree.
of
Totally
it.
agree. Totally agree.
And so what I'm saying again is, if you know who you are, I know a guy. He has not. He dates, right, and he dates women, and he's had long-term relationships. But he's never been married. He's about to turn 50. And he lives but he keeps a girlfriend, right?
Okay.
And of course, after a while, of putting a little pressure on him, and I want to settle down. He has no kids, but he knows what he wants. He knows what and then there's another guy that I know. He married twice, divorced twice, because he cheated on both of his wives. And you know what he said? And he's in his 50s as well. And you know what he said?
What?
He said, man, I know now I'm not built for marriage. And so now he lives his life. He dates women. And I don't know if he's honest with him about the fact that he doesn't want a serious situation. But he's matured to the level where he knows this isn't, I'm not marriage material. I don't have the discipline not to cheat.
Well, you know
I'm
what?
not going to keep hurting these women. I'm not going to keep putting these women in these positions, keep having these children, and then find myself in the same situation over and over again.
That was very mature of him. And the only thing I'll say to this, I'm going to be honest with you. You know why I think people cheat so much, in my opinion, honestly? And then I'm going to let you get out of there because I know I'm holding you up today. But I'm going to tell you why I think people cheat so much. People cheat so much is because there's really no reason to be married anymore other than the tradition of doing it. There's no pluses that comes from it anymore. There is nothing we are arguing online every day on the most minute, stupid shit every day. We're arguing about whether the man can pay all my bills like you not a grown fucking adult and need to work for a fucking living. Then we got men asking for a woman to basically turn into his woman fucking slave is what he's asking for. This shit is unrealistic because we have idiots and people out here that are pushing it, but nobody really knows the importance of marriage anymore. The marriage is for a reason. You are building a legacy. Let me say this and then I'll shut up. I told you I'm doing the genealogy right now. The most amazing thing about the genealogy, and I'm doing somebody else's at the same time I'm doing mine. I'm in their family's lineage, and I'm going in the back, and they had a family name, right? Everybody had it. Every man in this family had it going like 9 generations back. Every man had it. And then when I got to the very first person, he had this amazing story attached to this man's name, and now I know why the family kept the name. And so to me, that was a reason to be married, to keep passing that lineage on. Today's world, no one has a reason for it. We marrying people that we met over the weekend that got fat asses and a big wallet. Nobody's getting married for a real reason anymore. And then there's no reason to do it in this country. Because remember, the people that have some level of wealth, they're getting robbed through marriage. And then so that's no need for a rich person to get married. Then a poor person's getting married, and then you're getting raked over the coals down here at the bottom. And we're getting married, and no one's even talking anymore. It's just a lot of, I think the reason why marriage is not working is because people don't know the importance of it. And I think that's the problem that's going on.
I have a difference of opinion why marriages are failing today, or marriages are not even really happening like they used to. I have but that'll start a whole nother diatribe.
I know we went off. See, I told you to start here. You want to talk about that funk ass wrestling today.
Well, you want to talk about it, but you know what? I'll go ahead and give it to you.
Go ahead.
The reason why marriage is not happening at the rate that it used to is because what people don't realize is marriage, especially for Black people. Just people, period. Is, think about it. Back in the day, what jobs could Black women get?
Okay.
A nanny or the
She was a domestic. She's always a domestic.
Right? And then if Black men were lucky, some of them getting manufacturing jobs or they worked the farms, right? And then they were out here having these children. They couldn't say, "Oh, this man is beating on me. I'm leaving with my children." They couldn't say, oh, this man has a whole nother family down the street. I'm leaving with my kids. Women were stuck. Women could not have checking accounts. Women who had land willed to them by their family had to be put in their husband's name because land could not be in women's names. Women, let's be real, up until 1974 when women could purchase houses, have checking accounts, all this stuff, women were indentured servants. And now we're in an era where women are making their own money and getting married so they can pop out babies and take care of children by themselves while their husbands go off and do them and keep the house clean, go work at their 8-hour job, and then come home and clean the house and cook, and then expected to put the kids to bed, the homework, and then when all that's done, they're supposed to get the legs open for the husband. That is some indentured slave shit that women said, I don't need this no more.
So let me get you straight. So I want to make sure I understand you well. So you're saying that basically marriage is not working now because only reason why women was married before is because they were forced to. Is that what I mean?
Not that they were forced.
And y'all don't really want to be married. Y'all just wanted your own shit. That's what I hear.
If you're gonna leave your family home and have a life, there was nowhere where a woman, especially a black woman, could go and live on her own.
Now, you know what I want to say to you about that?
I do believe a lot of women married and I'm not even gonna say married, but stayed married. These 60-year marriages, these 80-year marriages, and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying it all because there's no any and all and everything, but the majority of them, they stayed because they had no other choice. What I'm saying is women have options now, and there are women out here now that are not being, back in the day, you slept with so-and-so, you a hoe. Women don't care what they get called. They just doing them now, and men don't know how to handle what I call the revolution of women now.
So you think men just want to dominate women is what you're basically saying. And if we can't dominate y'all, we're not because it sounds like it's just women wanted to be free of us. That's what it sounds like.
No. Women love to date. Women love to be courted. Women love to be showered on. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is men have not come to the awakening that the women, because society has set men up to be dominant. I'm not saying that they're going out here looking to dominate. I'm saying society has set it up where the man is dominating and has to dominate the woman, did. And now we're in a situation where it's not the case, and they don't know how to maneuver now. They're going to have to learn.
Can I ask you a question?
In other words, Chief, back in the day, I could go to work and do all the household and all the cooking and all of this. No, you don't do it now, and you're not stepping up and doing your part. I'm out.
Okay, so
you think deal with it anymore is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you think before. So basically, you're saying that after the 1970s, basically what you're saying is that women now have empowered themselves and they don't have to take men's shit anymore, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess where I'm lost at here is that I didn't know this was the black female's existence, because I could have sworn the very first millionaires in this country were black women. So I don't know how they got so marginalized. I thought all of us in our culture was being marginalized. That's what my experience has been. When there was no work for the black female to be more than a domestic, there was no more than the black male to be more than a farmer or a field hand. And so when we started to, now, Do we have a culture where women are doing better in, say, corporate? Yes, they do. They are prioritizing black women in our culture over black males in this position. But I also say differently, I think there's a detriment that's coming out of it. And I think they did it only because it's a detriment, because if women are now so economically empowered, you do know they're doing it by disenfranchising black males at the exact same time, which in turn is going to turn our whole culture upside down, because even though women don't want to be marginalized, and I don't think a woman should be marginalized, I also know a woman needs to know that she can be protected, guarded for, and taken care of by her male as much as she possibly can. He can't do any of that, but she can. She's going to have animosity towards him now. And that's the reason
No, I disagree.
Oh, well,
Of course, there's some women like that, right? You have to be financially on my level or above, right?
most women going to say that.
Will probably
but let's be honest. Let's be genuine and honest. Wherever the woman's economic status, that is where the level starts for that woman. It is not below that. If a woman is a millionaire, that man's going to have to be a millionaire. She's not going to do it. And if she is doing it, she's the exception, not the rule.
You can't say that as a fact. Unless you've done a study, you can't say that. What I'm saying to you is if a man, how do I put this? If a woman, let's say she's a lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she makes, let's say she makes 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And then she meets a man that's a plumber. He
Mm-hmm.
makes 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
He makes 6 figures because plumbers make good money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I know that.
she may make $20,000 more than him.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying to you is he can still provide for his family.
Sure
They
can.
can tag team that thing.
Sure can.
But what she's not going to put up with anymore is that she's going to go sit in her office for 8 hours, and she's empowered now because she's economically empowered.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to put up with what our grandmas and our great grandmas put up with. And that's because it became once the economy started getting bad and one income wasn't enough, you notice that the women had to adjust. The women had to get in the workforce and help the man bring home the bacon. But what never ever changed was that when the man when he come home bringing the bacon, he think his job is done. Where her second job kicks in. And
See,
that,
okay,
what I'm saying to you is that type of stuff, women will not. They know their value.
See,
they know that
okay.
if what you're bringing to the table is solely a check,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're not giving me any emotional, spiritual, physical protect, none of that, nothing else other than you bringing home a check. But I'm bringing home a check too. Why am I put up with that?
Okay, I don't think you. Okay, but this is
what I'm saying
okay.
to you is yes, there are you can just to say black women being economically empowered does not automatically have to say black men are disempowered because black women are empowered. I don't understand why one calls the other. I don't see it as
I'm not.
ripple.
See, this is what you don't get. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying my opinion when it comes to it, and I'll pull the statistics so when we talk again. But I hate to do it when we do it. But statistically, right now, we go corporate because that's what we talk about. When you let me say it this way. I'll even back it up. I won't even go that route because I don't like to do things unless I have my statistic in front of it. So I'm gonna leave this one out. But I'll go here. I'll ask you a question. Can you give me this corporate woman and the plumber relationship? Give me one.
So you just gonna put me on the spot? I'm just
Pause. So let me see why you're thinking. Let me talk. While you're talking. While you're thinking, I'll talk.
Okay.
Then. So I'll go ahead and say this.
I can't multitask, so I'm gonna listen to you. But I'm gonna give you one. But go ahead.
But I will just go ahead and say this. The reason why you don't see the plumber and the corporate lady together is because it's not just about the paycheck. It's also about the status of how things look. Let's just be honest. I want to be honest what we're on here today. Now, is it right what men do to women when they basically dominate them? Yes. I'm sorry. Has there been black men who have dominated their black woman? Yes. But that is not always the case. So when we say that we have been disenfranchised, we all have been disenfranchised in Black society when it comes to this thing.
I agree.
So when we start talking about this thing, I have not been your oppressor as a Black male in this thing. Black men have not been Black women's oppressor, and I hate that narrative when it comes out because we have not. Have men come home and feel like they don't have to do things? I do believe that. But I also know that we've had a conversation about biases before. And when it comes to biases, there are biases on both sides. There are things that women will not do and men don't require them to do it. There are going to be things that women do that men are not going to be required to do. It is. Do you have people taking advantage of it? Every fucking day on both sides, people are taking advantage of each other. But when I'm talking about in a healthy society, when it comes to it, it does not look good and is not going to be good for our culture for Black men to be unemployed at a 50% clip and from 18 to 37 when Black women are working at that time. We do not employ each other, so that means somebody is specifically taking Black males out of the equation for a reason. And I don't think that we should be getting blamed for it because we're not the ones not hiring ourselves. That's the only thing when it comes to it. Do I think that Black women should be able to empower themselves? Of course they should. You should be able to pay for yourself and not have to deal with shit. But what I'm saying is women are taking that now and they're fucking themselves out of a relationship because of this asinine things, that this 666 and this bullshit. You're seeing it all the time. I treat the manosphere the same way I treat feminists. Both of them are toxic as fuck to our community. But I'm seeing...
What are women tricking themselves out of?
Well, when you're talking about I'm not being with a man unless he's willing to pay for every fucking thing, that's unrealistic in a society when there's a two-income society. This is a two-income society. I'm sorry for you that you know of a person who is getting paid for everything. That is the statistical anomaly. The average American needs two incomes at least to survive. Most people move to this nation and they got 6 and 7 people living in one house. That's how hard it is. So to say that I'm going to wait until someone can take care of me completely, that is making your life more miserable. 50% is better than none.
Sir, you realize you just changed the whole topic of what
I was only
about.
addressing to what you was talking about. We've gotten away from the whole X part for the longest. When you went on the diatribe about women basically being disenfranchised, I disagree with that narrative when it comes to Black society vehemently because it's not the case. We have never been that.
I'm going to tell you why I would expect you to disagree with that. Because same reason why white people don't see how this country disenfranchises Black people. You're not a woman. You don't understand that experience. So
I'm not saying I'm not diminishing the woman. I'm not diminishing it.
Who knows the experience, and what you're saying to me is no different than a white person telling a Black person, "There's no police brutality. There's no this. There's no that."
No. If you heard my whole diatribe just went on. What I'm saying is not a monolith. This is not saying that this is how society goes for all of us. I'll give you an example of what I mean. I hate when people say that we have a trash culture talking about Black society, Black American society. People will denigrate our culture, say we have baby mama problems and a baby daddy problem. And when everybody has these issues, we just get judged by the worst of us. And what I'm saying is I don't think that we should be doing that to ourselves because just because you know of people who are doing this, that is not indicative of our culture. I'll give you an example of what I mean. There are societies in this world that if I want to go have sex with a child, there's open culture where they could send me somewhere to get this done. There is nowhere in Black American society where we can know of in this country that you know if you go to such and such spot, you can openly have sex with a child. I'm not saying you can't do this or people are not doing this, but in our culture, we're not that bad. But if we find one case where it happens, they're going to say all of us are okay with this. And when I'm saying that's not what we have to stop doing for our culture, because our culture does not denigrate it. We have been together always. And every time that we are together at a high clip, let me finish my statement. Every time we're together at a high clip, and the last time we was at a very high clip was the 1960s. And they did a study. That 1960 study said, why are these niggas so turned up? It's because they have a high level of racial pride and Black love. They said, let's break that shit the fuck up. And once they did that, here comes the welfare system. Here comes let's employ the woman and let's take the jobs away from the Black males. That is all happened simultaneously. So I'm saying that is a purpose, and I'm not going to dog us for that.
Let me tell you something. There's enough fault to go around. There can be more than one issue to a problem that causes a problem. Yes, that all of what you said plays a role.
I
Has
agree.
played a role and probably will play a role. But men have to take accountability for their male privilege and the things that they've been given
Oh, God.
and how it affects.
Can I ask you a question, Levin? Can I ask you a question? What privilege has black males gotten?
No, I said male.
I know, I hear you. But what we have to do is you start with your culture because you know it makes a difference. So I ask you the question, what male privilege do I have over any black female?
Is the government telling you what to do with your penis?
The government is telling everyone you talking about with the abortion? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they telling you what to do with your reproductive right, with your reproduction organs? Has
no.
the government told you you can no longer have sex without a condom, and if you do, you gonna get your ass locked up? Has
Okay,
anybody told a man that?
No. Did you know that? Oh, you're right. Now I'll give you this.
Hold on, I got more.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The pay gap between women in this country versus men in this country for the exact same job is 87 cents on the dollar, solely due to gender. Men get paid more than women. Look at, and I'll give you a prime example. Look at the USA male soccer team who couldn't win a fucking game, making millions of dollars, where their women counterparts who were killing it made crumbs. Don't even get me started to the pay comparison from the NBA to the WNBA. The pay gap. What male privilege?
Okay, can I stay? Can I pause you right there?
Because I got them.
Okay, well let me back you up. Let me back you up. Let's go from the WNBA and go backwards. Okay, I'm sorry that a league that loses $10 to $40 million a year don't make the exact same amount of money that a league that generates billions of dollars a year. That is why your women make less money in the WNBA. You can't make more if they don't make more. That's one.
Fair enough. But let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you something. How is it? Why is it they're not making money? Could it be that the NBA is not putting any marketing behind the WNBA? Could it be that I don't see any sports commentators, ESPN, FS1, none of these people talking about, up until Caitlin Angel Reese, that discussed the WNBA to make people want to care about them?
Okay, all right. So let me address it.
You created this whole thing, league, and you put these, and let me tell you something else.
Okay.
Even if they didn't make what the women made, if they in business and they losing money like that, why have they not dissolved the WNBA?
I agree.
It's a business.
Okay, so let me tell you this. Okay, go ahead.
There are people who don't even have college degrees that make more than the women in the WNBA. So, no.
Okay, so we have to, Levin, you're telling me you want to tell me about women being no men. The WNBA is a bad choice to use because a business that don't make money. I know, but I ain't get a chance. You stopped me so you can tell me about the WNBA again. But let me go ahead and finish. So my point to your WNBA problem is this. It don't generate money. Check it for yourself. I know this to be true. I was just doing numbers. It was one of the songs I wanted to talk about you one day. That was one. Two, when it comes to it, the NBA subsidized the WNBA. They pay for their salaries in some parts of it. They subsidize them, yes. So the NBA is floating the WNBA. I heard Draymond Green had to sit with Lisa Leslie one time on the podcast and basically say he can't stand when people say the NBA don't support the WNBA when their salaries are helping fund the WNBA. So now I don't want to hear that about that because we do that. Again, black men are not subjugating y'all. That's one. Second, let's go back it up to the whole part about the women's right thing. When you go to women's right, you like it, I love it. I am not here to judge it.
Pause. You use the WNBA. Now talk about what I was saying about the USA soccer team, men versus the women.
Okay, I can't. I don't know nothing about it at all because I don't. And if I were arguing, I would be arguing from a bad place of argument. If you say that they're getting paid more and they are not generating more funds, that is wrong against women. I can't take nothing from it. I don't know that to be true, because the only reason why I'm saying this is this. If I knew nothing about the WNBA, I would have to take the fact of what you just told me all about the WNBA. And I can't, because the WNBA doesn't supposed to make nowhere near as much money as them, because it doesn't generate it. And I'm sorry that it doesn't. Now, do you say that should they be funding it more?
Going back to the WNBA.
I'm just using
now
it. So
I want you to talk about the national statistics where women make only 87 cents to the dollar over a man.
Okay.
Explain that as that not being a male privilege.
I cannot explain that at all, and I won't speak to that because I can't explain it. All I know is that same statistic that you're telling half of the statistic. Because the other statistic inside of that is that 87% of that money, black men and black women don't make that 87%. So if it was just about gender, why don't black women make it 87 cents on the dollar? Y'all don't. So what I'm saying is black women do not make 87.
Listen, no. The statistic I looked up did not break it down by race.
I know, but what I'm doing it, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Okay, so let me tell you. So let me tell you. So let me finish my statement. You asked me, I got to get it out. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. They have a book that I would tell you to go read called How to Lie with Statistics. I got it from Bill Gates. And when you do it, because what happens is I can make any statistic fit with my narrative. And what I'm trying to tell you is, listen,
you ain't doing that. Look,
let me finish.
Let me times have you told me my research, my statistics, Now
I know I'm
statistics.
going with it. I'm going.
You want to doubt my statistics?
I'm not doubting your statistic. I'm ready to prove your statistic to be incorrect. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doubting it. The incorrect is because of this. I'm going to right now. Let me finish. You gonna let me get it? This is how.
Yes.
87% on the dollar does not equate it, because black women do not make 87% of what the white women make. Y'all make less than white women. So what I'm trying to get you.
Do.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is you don't get paid less off of your gender. You're getting paid less off of your race. The only reason why 87% is going to white women because white men have always dominated his woman. We have never dominated out. Listen. Let me get it out, and then you can tell me. I don't go on the lines of what white society do is because it don't affect me the same way. This world affects us differently. It's going to affect us by our race. It does every day. We talk about it. So if my race is getting shitted on based by my race, I can't go to gender because my gender, your woman is getting shitted on just like I'm getting shitted on. They're shitting on both of us. So what I'm telling you is that that's why I don't separate us by gender, because if we separate ourselves by gender, you're still taking out the equation. Even if we went to the point and they made it equal by gender, we're still going to fail.
What I'm saying to you is we were talking about, you asked me to give you some examples about male privilege. What male privileges do you have?
You just gave me white privilege. That's what you gave. You gave me white male privilege.
Yes, I do know white women make more money than
so you gave me
you didn't
give me a male privilege, you gave me a white male privilege. That's a difference.
No, because guess what? Regardless of what you think, yeah, there may be more black women in corporate America, but if you had a black man and a black woman doing the same job, because there are black men in corporate America, regardless of what you believe.
No, I know that.
Probably more
come on now,
women,
I know they're in there.
The black man gets the black job and has the same title as the black woman, the black man is automatically going to be offered more money.
Can you back that up?
I mean,
can you back that?
His gender.
Can you back that one up though? I bet you can't back that one up though.
Back what up?
That one that about black man or black woman in corporate. I bet you can't back that one up.
That black men make more money than black women?
I bet you can't back that up. Bet you can't back that one up.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see. Go ahead. Real time.
Let's see here.
Because see, what I think, and why you doing, let me say this too, Ray, why you doing it. The reason why I always do this, I'm not trying to do this to be disingenuous or argue with you. What I'm saying is that in black society, I'm sorry, your race trumps your gender all day. And I think what's happening, but I know you're not, but what I'm saying is the whole thing this conversation started with was about in relationship. But when you say male privilege, see, you got to go deeper into context. That would be white male privilege, because these privileges that you just gave me don't apply to me. So why am I absorbed or have to take that on as mine, and it don't even apply to me?
Because as a, nobody Just like ain't nobody asking white people to take on black people problem. What we're saying is acknowledge that there's an issue, acknowledge that there's
But
a problem,
they would acknowledge
and
it.
don't be hindering.
They would acknowledge that as a black person's problem. That's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna acknowledge it as their own too. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's see. Let's see here. All right. This is from the Pew Research Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And according to this, let's see, what is that? Okay. Oh, wow. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like this is saying, oh, this is 2015, that in 2015, Asian men made more money than white men.
Okay. No, Asian men per
Asian
capita.
men?
Asian men per capita. Asian community in America per capita is the richest community in the country. Yes, I understand that.
Asian men, then it was white men, then they got black men beating out Hispanic men by $1. According to this, for every $15 a black man makes in a position, a black woman makes $13. A white woman makes $17. So the white woman is still making more money than you, but you are making more money than black women.
Okay. All right. So you got me. Y'all make $2 less than us. Now let's go back to your original point. No. You with me? I'm gonna go to your point. Listen. This is in line. Listen what I'm saying. This is in line to what you're saying. So let's go back to your original point. Those $2 that you say that men are making more than women, where in history have we subjugated you economically?
When did I ever say black
Because
men
we made the point to this
subjugated
argument was that women were tired of men dominating them. And now that they don't have to be dominated anymore, they're taking less shit from men. And I'm saying in history, when did men dominate you financially to the point where we told you how to do what the fuck we told you to do?
I don't understand your question.
You
If a
said...
man, why do you think it's so? Let's be real. Let's put it on the table.
Let's put it.
Domestic violence in our community back in the day was horrific because they knew the woman had nowhere to go. Child abuse was horrific because they knew women had nowhere to go. I'm not saying the black man has preyed on the black woman. What I'm saying to you is, based on our positioning in society, black men have been getting more privileges than black women. And now that the shift is happening, it has nothing to do with women blaming black men for taking advantage.
Okay.
Because they didn't set it up. Black people don't set up anything. The white men in this country set it up that way.
Okay. So the question.
And regardless of whether you want to accept it or not, there were some privileges that black men were trickled down to black men.
I keep asking you to tell me. I keep asking you to tell me what they are. That's why I keep asking you.
I said pay. You want to?
Okay. So pay. So let's take the pay. Hold on.
And I need you to acknowledge that men make more money than women.
Okay. So let me acknowledge it. Let me acknowledge it. You say I need you to acknowledge it. Can I acknowledge it?
So you acknowledge it.
I mean, can you give me a moment to acknowledge it? Okay. So
and
you're saying
okay. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. So you said that black men make more money than black women, and you pulled out the statistic and you proved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So we make more money than you guys. What has changed? Because you said we've always made more money than you guys. So what more have y'all gained now that made you change your mind on how bad we treated you? What has changed? Because you've always said we've made more money than y'all.
What I mean, and I keep saying this, if you were hired as a clinical associate, Lamar, and I was hired as a clinical associate, and we got hired at the same time, it is statistically proven that
Right.
you will make more money than me.
Okay.
What
So,
I never said that black women are not out jobbing black men right now.
so what I asked
never
you,
said
I got you.
I
So,
know they are.
No,
Black
but my
women have more.
but my-
The black women are the most educated. They're developing the most businesses. And what I'm saying to you is,
Can
you
I-
always say history. You got to go by history. You got to go by
Mhm.
history. What I'm saying to you is, there's a shift happening, and there's a change happening. And
Mhm.
now that women are making money now,
Mhm.
they don't have to put up with certain things that they've put up with in the past. And this is my last final thought, and then I'll let you say whatever you want. The biggest and the most important male privilege right now
Okay. Let's
that
get it.
women are facing. Now, I have my own opinion about the voting system in this country,
Okay.
and if it's effective or not, right?
Okay.
Do you know that there are in the process of saying, if your birth certificate if you have a different name on your birth certificate than you do now, that you have now,
Mm-hmm.
you will no longer be allowed to vote.
Right.
And do you know why they're doing that? Because they are trying to strip women's right to vote.
All right. So I have to no,
but they're not
no.
trying as of
Okay.
yet.
So
They are
so I
not
have
trying to strip men.
Okay, so
voting
let's go to that. Let's speak to that one all the time. When you go to the DMV and a woman gets married, does she have to take her marriage license when she go?
It's been so long, but
Yes,
I'll say yeah.
yes. You have to take your marriage
Okay.
license when you go. Now,
Uh-huh.
after you've taken it once, should you have to take it again? No, but they make you bring it every time when you go as a woman. They're going to make you. Yes.
No,
Yes.
I
State of
don't take
Georgia.
my
I can
birth
get
certificate to the
State of
DMV.
Georgia. You have to bring as a woman, and especially if you're married, because on your birth certificate it's going to be different than your marriage license. You have to bring your driver's license, your birth certificate, and your marriage license when you come to renew every time. I know this to be true.
No, Lamar, I don't believe that. Let me tell you why. Why. When you get married, you go to the Social Security Administration and you do your name change at the Social Security Administration. And then they send you off, and then they update your new name in the system. You update your driver's license. The first time you may have to the first time that you go to get your new name on your driver's license, you may have to do all that. But no, you do not have to take all that with you every time you renew your license, because your Social Security Administration has you listed with your marital name.
Can I tell you, I just went with someone who just had to do this again. So I'm not telling you what I think.
Why?
I'm telling you what I know. Now, where you're at, it may be different. Here,
Why?
it is, I do not know. I said the same thing. It's stupid. Why do I, when I have my driver's license and my social with me, why do I have to bring my birth certificate every fucking time I go? It's stupid, but they make me do it every time. What I'm saying to you is this. They didn't strip you of shit. They made it difficult. Yes, they're always doing that. Why do I have to go to the DMV to get my driver's license when I shouldn't have to? Why do I have to go? Why? I'll give you an example of what I mean. In England or in Europe, they set your taxes up for you every year. All you have to do is sign them and then they go. Why does our country make us file us all over again? Because they want to. They want to make shit difficult. They're always doing it. So what I'm saying to you is that if they done told you 3 years ahead of the election how you going to be able to vote, they ain't strip you of shit. They made it difficult, but they always doing it. This is your country. They do it to
Lamar,
everybody. What I'm trying to get you, listen what I'm trying to get you to
Let me tell you
understand.
something. Taking your birth certificate with your maiden name and your driver's license with your married name is different, means you will not be allowed to vote. That
Do you
is what's
love
on the. That is what's
love it?
in.
I heard
That is
love it.
what's
Love it. I know what's on the table because I've heard it too. You're missing the part of they're not telling this portion is not going to exclude married women. What I'm telling you is they're giving you an extra step that you're going to have to potentially go through if it passes. And what I'm telling you is
which would be what?
what did they
What's
tell
this
you they
next
had
step?
to? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say this. I'm going to ask you a question. What did they tell you you were going to be able to do if you're married? Did they tell you you can't vote now?
Of course, they're not going to say it.
So what did they say? So what did they say?
blatantly. No,
So what did they say?
haven't said
So,
that.
so what did they say?
What
did they say?
What they did say is if your birth certificate name does not match your driver's license name, or you change your name from your birth certificate, you will not be allowed to vote. That is the exact word for word.
Okay,
what
so
they
this is
said.
what I'm going to
So
do. 'cause
I
this
don't
is,
know
this is,
how you
'cause this-
decided
no,
that
no,
is they're
no,
not talking
no,
about.
No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you exactly because you gave me the first part, and I don't know it specifically because I only glanced at it when I saw it. But I'm going to show you exactly what next show we do. We're going to start it with that. I'm going to start it with the fact I'm going to show you that this bill that's being introduced is not going to exclude women who are married. I'm going to show you how it's going to work. And I'm going to show you how this is nothing more than what you always get. And it's fear-mongering shit that they always do. And they have women hollering this shit. I'm going to tell you just like this. Let me say this. And now I'm going to say this. When we talk about this gender thing, all that I ever see at the end of it all is that you lose and I lose. We have melanin in our skin, you lose and I lose. That I know that males have access to relationships, mean I tell you when we get married and you tell me when we fucking. That is a bias on your side, that's a bias on my side. We can continuously write them down on what I feel that men get and women don't get. Men have to change the tie, the woman don't have to change the tie. The woman has to cook the meal, the man don't have to cook the meal. It's going to always be something, but what I'm saying is collectively, black people lose every fucking time. We are the highest divorce rate. If white women were so upset with their men, why ain't they divorcing theirs? We divorcing ours because the whole thing is designed for you to not be with me, not for her man to be with hers. White women said they hated Trump and then turned the fuck around and voted for him at almost a 50 to 60% rate. That tells you they ain't mad at him. They just talking to y'all. I don't see why we cannot understand it. They say black women is the most educated woman on earth. You are right. She goes to college at the highest clip than anybody. Why? It's because she's supplementing her income with schooling. But when it gets to the workforce, she ain't getting hired like everyone else. She still makes less money. You are so educated, but they are blocking you out. All of these businesses that black women are starting still have no employees because they are not generating any money. It's only licenses down at the Secretary of State and they got an LLC. I have 5 of them. Not all 5 make money. So what I'm trying to say is that when we watch this stuff here, at the end of the day, black folks are just fucking losing. And we ain't losing because of my dick and your pussy. We losing because we're black. That's it.
What I need you to do going forward, you change the narrative
I did
of
not.
what I say, though.
I did not.
I never
not.
said we're both not losing, right? But you're yelling at me.
I'm not
telling
yelling
me
at you. I'm passionate.
All of us are fucking losing, right?
Yes.
All
I'm not.
I simply said to you was that men are afforded certain privileges that women do
And you
not.
keep, and I keep
And
saying
wait,
to you,
oh my God,
and I
wait,
keep,
hold on,
no,
let
and
me-
I
let
keep
me-
saying to
let me
you,
finish.
just like I did on my whole spiel just then, you tell me that every time, and you give me the ones that men do have biases on, but I'll give you some back, and you ignore them.
No, sir, no. I say I was gonna give you a pass. The last time we had this discussion, you were supposed to come up with 20
Yes, I just gave you some
women
now.
privileges, and you
I-
never brought them.
I just gave you some now, but we ignored them.
What privilege? What name it again? Just name one. Name one
Okay.
privilege a woman has over a man.
I just gave you one. I said women control the access to sex. You control the access to sex. I don't. I said that. That's a bias. That's a. See, you don't. You. It's not. Is that not true?
So you telling me if I'm with a man and I want it he gonna lay down and
No,
and,
this
and
is
just
what
do
I'm
it
telling
even
you.
if he don't want
This,
to?
this is what I'm telling you is. This is what I'm telling you is. When a man and a woman's ready to get married, the man determines when the marriage is going to happen. The same way in your relationship with your man, you know when it's time to have sex. It doesn't matter if he's ready. It's when it's going to happen. It's when you ready. That's what happened.
Listen to my question. Listen to my question.
I heard your question.
Women don't control when sex happens.
Oh God.
If that was the case,
I'm done.
then
I'm
a
done.
woman
I'm
can
done.
say, the man can come home tired and she can say, I want to have sex, and he
he's
say
gonna
no,
do it.
and she
He's gonna
said,
do it.
I control it. Get
No,
your
he's
ass in
gonna
the
do-
room
no,
and
he's
lay your
gonna do
ass
it.
down and give it to me.
Okay. Now you're just trolling me, so I'm going to leave it there because you do not because what I'm saying is that because one thing I will say is this. One thing I am not a male advocate. I am a black family advocate. And one thing I cannot do is I see that male have biases at times, but I also see it when women have it. And what I'm trying to tell you is just classic example. I'll give you another one then. I can't tell you I don't want to date you because you fat as hell. But you can tell a man all day long, I don't want to date you because you're too short. And everybody accepts it.
You know what? I'm gonna Google for next time.
Oh God.
You need to
Oh, God.
you need
Okay.
to learn the difference
Oh God.
between
Oh God.
you're talking over me, sir.
Oh God.
We're gonna talk about the differences between biases and privileges. There's
Okay.
two different things.
Okay. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. I'm getting out of here. We done went over 2 hours talking to your ass today.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
I'm-
talking so crazy.
Well, now you know. I know where the subject to hit you with is just hit you with relationships and you go off. So that's love
Oh
that.
yeah, I can talk about that all day. Cause yeah, I have
All
plenty.
right, so I got to run anyway now. Well, you gonna hold up the rest of my day. Anyways, look, last words. You got anything to say before I let you out of here?
No, I'm good.
All right, good deal. I'm gonna call you next time. You drain
All right.
me. You know that, right?
You drained me today.
I know you don't drain me. I'm out of here. I ain't talking to you. Bye.
Bye.
Let me get back to the show. Let me turn up the music a little bit. All right, guys. I'm gonna take a small commercial break. Like she triggered the shit out of me there, guys. She did. She triggered me. So I'm gonna take a small break. I'm gonna play a video real quick, and then we're gonna dive back in. I'm gonna close out the show. All right, so guys, give me a hot second.
school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
All right, guys, we back. I'm gonna like to close out the show. It was actually, hey guys, I'm not gonna lie. Let me get Levy off the screen. This was probably, oh, I didn't mean to put that up. I meant to put that up, never did. This was probably the most entertaining episode I think we had. We should do more relationship talk because I think you get a general feel for each one of us when we do that. Now, I vehemently disagree with Ms. Levy on a lot of these subjects, but I think we come from it from two different perspectives. And I always tell people too, remember, your experience will dictate how you view the world. So I'm not trying to diminish hers because mine is different. I understand that I'm a history guy. So I've studied every corner of this realm that we live on, and in a lot of different time periods. So at the end of the day, I understand that her experience is her experience, but what we can't do, in my opinion, is that I just don't want to look at it as such a narrow scope. If you just open up an old newspaper and you see John Smith shot Becky Johnson, that's all it'll say, and then John Smith goes to prison. But there's a story behind that. And so being that there's a story behind everything, you got to understand, you just don't make blanket statements like that. What I'm telling you is the blanket statement I'm always going to make is I watch the collective of black people suffer. I've watched black men can't make a living for themselves and take care of their family. I've watched black women not be able to do the same. I've watched black men, older and current day, beat the shit out their women. I've seen older black women and young black women beat the shit out their men. And what I'm saying is that what I feel like my dear sister, Miss Levy, my co-host, was doing is that she takes on white supremacist talking points, and she doesn't even realize it, in my opinion. Well, at least this subject, I'll say that. She'll hate that I said that, but at least on this subject, because they do that to us all the time. That's the what about black on black crime to me. Or the what about Chicago? Well, Chicago isn't indicative of the entire country. So why is it just to demonize black folks you want to bring up a bad statistic in Chicago? No. If the one neighborhood in Chicago is suffering, it sounds like to me somebody's allowing that neighborhood to suffer. But I'm not going to be held responsible for a place that I ain't never fucking been. And so that's why when I hear statistics about male privilege, no, put that shit where it belongs. That's white male privilege. White males dominate their women. Us black men don't do that. We don't economically shit on y'all just because we make more money. The only reason why statistically black males make more money than y'all because men do more of the work. You build the roads? No. Do you have to do the infrastructure? No. Men do those things. That's why they end up getting paid more majority of the time. The jobs especially the jobs in those eras that were designated jobs for females, those jobs were not jobs that were considered much. Do I think they should be paid equally? Yes. But this narrative that black men are having some privilege over women or black women is not true. So we're going to put this shit where it belongs. Now, because what happened, like she used the thing about the example of, are we getting our bodies policed? And I hate that argument because I feel like when my what's the word? My response to that is going to make a woman who's had an abortion feel like I'm talking about her. Again, I'm not. Remember, each situation is different. Like I said a minute ago. So I understand that some woman may need that abortion. But when they say that statistically, that when a woman has had one abortion, a woman who's had one abortion will have 3 or more abortions more. If she's hit 3 or 4 more abortions, now this shit is just child protection at this point. She's just basically using this contraceptive at this point. Wouldn't you agree? And so for me, murdering of a baby just because you want to have a night out on the street don't sit well with me. Now, if something happened to you that was against your will, that's a different situation. Now, is that my argument to have? I don't have it. It ain't my world. I don't live there. So when you talking about biases, that's a world I don't live in. Now, are women getting told that they can't do it? Hey, that's different. You need to go talk to your representative about that, but don't come talk to me. I ain't controlling you. I don't police your body. All that I know is that if we get pregnant, we pregnant. I ain't got no say so. I've told her that before, but I didn't want to go down that path because she said we don't get our bodies policed. No, but we get policed on whether or not the outcome happens. You have full control over that. But if I said that to her, she wouldn't have saw that, in my opinion. So all I just say is at the end of the day, there are biases on both sides. The original point of the question was about whether or not an ex should be together. I don't know how we delve down into that subject, but it is what it is. So, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and close it out for today. I appreciate you guys catching up with us on this Smooth Monday. Like I said, it was an amazing show. If you guys don't know what you're missing, if you got this far in the game, you better come watch it. Tomorrow, catch us again on 300radio.com, 11 a.m. We're going to get it popping. Subscribe to the YouTube because the YouTube channel is popping off, man. We got, I think, over 50, 60,000 views last week. Let's get them in here, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it growing. We got a lot popping over here, I promise you. But until then, that's all that I really much have for you guys today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. We're going to pick this relationship thing back up. Hopefully we have it again. If I don't, I got a whole nother subject I want to cover with you guys. Excuse me, I had to burp. But until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Scott Free Morning Show. I'm out. Peace.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.